Hey everyone, welcome to AGT Time. This podcast has gone to the dogs. Cody Patterson here, along with.
Along with Jay Bock, ready to talk season 16. Finally, we've made it.
We've made it. We've had a long and busy off season, Jay, but we finally came back around to season 16, and it's looking the same but different.
The same but different. That's yeah. Uh the producers, editors have figured out how to make this feel like a more typical season of America's Got Talent. Last year we were thrown into pandemic and they had to kind of scramble and make it happen however they could make it happen. This year they knew what was coming, they knew what parameters they were working in, and they've green screened or
CGI.
they've turned the dials
Yeah.
to create a
Yep.
feeling of a live audience, more or less.
Yeah. So let's just real quick, just since we've kind of opened that up, let's talk about the live audience just briefly. We can do a little bit more later, but did it feel like a live audience to you, or could you tell that something was different?
I knew going into it that it wasn't a live audience.
Okay.
There were times where like, I could tell that the intention was for it to feel like a live audience, right? The oohs and the ahs and the applause and the boos or whatever. That was all expected, right? And I wonder. So what they did is they, had some sort of crowd machine, the crowd noises that they copied and pasted over the episode so that we could hear the laughter and the whatever the crowd's responses the to the acts. Um, it makes me wonder on a normal season how much control they have over that.
Mm-hmm.
Are they turning the volume up? Are they replacing the actual sound of the audience with fake sound of the audience? I don't know. I wonder what production goes into that.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell that there was some magic, even just right off the bat. If you're really paying attention, I mean, it looked like something was different. But I was live tweeting during the episode, and people were real excited that there was live audience. So there were people that thought, yes, there was a live audience. And if those of you that listened to our interview, the commenter and I talked to Steven Anderson last week, he mentioned there's going to be no audience. So maybe a partial audience, but they're going to bring in some virtualization and, like you say, some crowd noise. They're going to pipe in some crowd noise. So the judges even turned around and talked to, quote, the audience.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I think even in one of them, Heidi referenced, "Hey, I'm going to listen to the audience and see what they have to say." And so they were doing everything they can to make it feel like this is AGT that we're familiar with. I think they did a pretty good job. Those of us that kind of, this is what we do, is pay attention to AGT. As you've mentioned, now that you podcast, you're paying attention a little
Yeah.
more closely than you have before. So some of us could tell a difference, but I'm glad that there are viewers out there that felt like they were watching a show that still had an audience. I think that gives a much richer and deeper experience.
Yeah, there were not a lot of shots, or, like, one thing that I was trying to watch for was a shot of the judges with the audience behind them, and there just
Yes.
wasn't that, right?
Yeah.
Any, panning of the audience. There was no tight shots of, the twin grandmas. There was no there was no panning of the audience. Like, it was
Yeah.
it was all very vague, blurry. Like, it looked like an audience, but it was not obviously um live people. They faked it pretty well.
They did a really good job, and they're going to keep it up. And it looks like they've put a lot of their budget money into creating this virtual virtualized audience, and it felt better. I know we love to have real people there. I understand that California, when this was recorded, couldn't, but I think they did a pretty good job at making it feel like there was an audience there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I wonder what it would be like to perform for a virtual audience as well. Do the performances, comedians especially, get uh, the laughter turned up as they tell a
yeah,
joke? Like, uh, is there one person or a couple of people sort of giving them that feedback that helps
yeah,
them to be a better comedian,
yeah.
or is it like,
Are they wearing an earpiece that's got some
yeah,
laughter in it to make it so? Yeah, I mean that's those are all good questions, because what the performers experienced on the stage is a different experience than what we had at home.
yes, by a lot.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah,
So real quick, let's shift over and let's do our business, and then I'm ready to talk some performances.
let's do it. Okay.
Yep. You want to go ahead? It's been a while since you've done it.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
It's anywhere and everywhere. It's at AGT Time Pod.
There you go. Yes.
That is our home on the web. It's
Yeah.
our Twitter handle. It's our it's where you want to go. Instagram, YouTube, we've got it all. AGT
Yep.
Time Pod. If you
Yep.
want to reach out to me directly, because I am the resident expert on all things AGT, uh, I'm at One Man Bander, and Cody, our producer extraordinaire, is at Cody L. Patterson. Cody L for Leroy, Larry, something like that. Patterson.
Lee.
L.
Lee.
Patterson.
Yep. Yeah. The only difference in our thing is, because I haven't renewed it yet, is our website, which is agt.com. So, but
Oh, okay. All right.
yeah, everything else AGT Time Pod. So
AGT Time Pod. Rate, review, subscribe. We love that we've kept all you listeners through the off season. We love that we're bringing new people on this season. If you're interested in going back and listening to a rewatch of season 1 and season 2, we've got those. We've done a handful of interviews in the off season. We've done some conversations with people who are more connected and less connected with the production of the show. We got some behind the scenes with some people who have been on the show. So go check that stuff out if you're new to us. Those of you that have been listening all through the off season with us, thank you for hanging in there. We've made it to the real season. So
yes,
here we are.
We're in AGT proper again.
All right.
Yes.
With that, do you remember our first act of the night, Cody?
I do. Yes. But before we get in the act, I just had a couple of comments and introductions. Does Simon look okay to you?
Well, I saw his legs for the first time ever.
Yes, saw his legs. I don't know, something, and I don't really want to shame people for this, but somehow his head looked different. Now I think maybe he's lost weight.
He's definitely lost weight.
He
in
seems
the
like
last
he's
couple
lost weight.
years.
Yep. I know he had the back surgery, so that may have had a lot to do with it as well. But just, it felt like Simon was. I mean, he seems happier. He seems more chippy. Just Simon felt a little different this season than what we've seen in the past.
Interesting observation.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't pick up on that necessarily, but he wasn't the grumpy, American Idol judge, right? He was definitely a more positive tone throughout the entire episode. There were a couple times that he, was less interested in the acts, but there wasn't a lot. They didn't give us a lot of those buzzer acts, those eliminated acts. It was
Yes.
a lot of acts going through.
Yep. Yeah, it felt tighter this time, and we got fewer acts, but we got to see those acts for longer periods of time.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you put a clock on these acts? I'm curious.
I didn't.
Oh,
I'll remember
boy.
to do that for next week. That's a good thing, Jay. I'll remember. I'll do that for next week.
I might send you back through because some of these drug out pretty long.
Yes. Yep.
And I'd be interested to know what some of these clocked in at, especially at the end there. Our second to last act, it felt like that one really drug. But okay, so let's jump into the first act.
Yes.
Shall
yes.
we?
Canine Stars. Canine Stars.
Canine Stars. So we open up the season, and it's going to be um, uh, they're going to reveal judges a fake judges table with 4 dogs sitting at it, or I guess it's like dog heads with human hands, human bodies,
Yeah,
that look a little bit like the
a
judges.
little bit.
Was
Yes.
sort of the intention.
Yeah.
They put the round glasses on Bowie Mandel to look like Howie. I guess the longer ears and the curly hair, whatever, to match the ladies. Um, so they had the 4 judges, four dogs, and then one dog came out. He was supposed to be Terry Crews, and then he walks up to this microphone and he like licks at the microphone to make it look like he's talking while the voice of Terry Crews plays, uh, introducing an act. And then the judges react with the edited voices of the judges, sort of in this conversation. First act comes out, this guy dances. It was not very good dancing. The judges all buzz him, and it's again the voices of the judges as they're eliminating this act. Another act comes out, and it's a girl that's performing with her dog, and the dog jumps over her arms. They do a little bit of dancing stuff, and the judges, of course, love that and give this girl and her dog the golden buzzer, and it's you know gold confetti all around and everybody's happy. The judges thought that this was fantastic, was genius, was wonderful. I think that I would have really enjoyed it like them if it had been like an analog of me. If they put together a couple guys, a couple dog-headed guys sitting behind microphones podcasting about America's Got Talent, I would think it was pretty great.
Yeah.
But it felt like their audience of 4 really enjoyed this. um, I'm not sure how much America is going to enjoy this. I'm not sure what else they're going to do, but it was a fun act. I'm not sure that it was the home run that the judges felt it was.
Yeah, I like that it was unique. It was different. It wasn't just your typical dog act where they come out, they do some tricks, they dress them up. And I guess they did put them in outfits. They didn't dress them up in like cute little outfits and parade them around to dancing song or to songs and have them jump over some little I don't know, little hurdles or jump through hoops. So it was a different type of act. I like that it was unique, but it did drag on a little while. The thing at the beginning was slow, but I think it was meant to not be good so that they could buzz the guy and his dog. But when Delta and Mesa, the Delta the dog and Mesa his handler trainer came out, that picked it up a little bit more, but it drug out for a while. But I did like the uniqueness. It was funny. They did have the dogs. The dogs looked just like the judges. The Howie Mandel dog was almost identical to him with the round glasses on. But so I did like that. Yes, it felt slow and it dragged on, but it was different.
It was different.
Yeah.
It's not dogs doing acrobatics, doing athletic things. It's dogs living up to their training, I guess.
Yes. Yep.
Being good listeners, good sitters on the stage. Simon said, "This is genius. Seriously, genius." Howie said, "For me, the best animal act I have ever seen on the show by far."
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. I've got some animal acts listed, Jay. I want to see where this one falls in this list.
Okay.
So, and we're going to go back a while.
Okay. All right.
So I've got Pork Chop Review from last season. Okay. And it's still animals. It's pigs.
It's pigs. Yes.
Yeah. It falls under the animal act that you mentioned.
I'll go with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the best animal act he's ever seen on the show by far.
Higher or lower than Pork Chop Review?
Jeez. I mean, they're pretty close. I was not really taken with Pork Chop Review. I was not really taken with this act either. I might give the edge to Pork Chop Review.
Okay, because it's pigs.
It held my attention longer than this one did.
Okay. So legendary act, winner of AGT, Olate Dogs. Where do they compare to Olate Dogs?
This is not as good as Olate Dogs.
Okay. Sarah and Hero.
Not as good as Sarah and Hero.
Not as good as Sarah and Hero. Okay.
Yep.
Now I've got this one listed as an animal act just because the judges were starting to categorize it as an animal act, even though I don't think that we do. Christian Stoynev and Scooby.
Right. Boy, friend of the podcast, Christian
Yes.
Stoynev,
Yes.
and Scooby. I'm gonna give the edge to Scooby and
Okay.
Percy and Christian Stoynev.
Okay. Alexis Brownlee and the Puppy Pals.
Ooh, this might be better than Alexis Brownlee and the Puppy Pals from
Okay.
From last season.
Okay, and now we're going way back. Popovich Comedy Pet Theater.
Oh boy,
we just talked about them.
Yes, they had some hits and some misses. If you want to go back and listen to our season 2 review, Popovich at their best, I think, was better. Popovich at their worst was not as good. I'm afraid that this is the best of Canine All Stars.
Okay,
Canine Stars, not All Stars.
Yeah.
Jeez. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the edge to Popovich.
Okay, so just from this list, this is like the fourth best from our AGT Time podcast list,
according to me.
According to Jay, yes.
And again, they didn't have a dog that looked like me on the stage, and they didn't. They were playing to a different audience than me. So
yeah,
I'll give them a little bit of grace that way. I'm not sure where this act is going to go. I'm not sure what else they are going to do.
Yeah, I do like that it is a different type of act. It's not just them coming, just not dogs coming out just doing tricks. It seems like they've got something else. So I mean, I'm interested. So we'll see.
We'll see. When they were chatting with the judges, they said, we are a team of dogs and their people, and we travel around showing people how to be really good relationships with their dogs and promoting pet adoption.
Yeah, good.
Relationships with dogs, pet adoption, traveling around with their pets, or their pets traveling around with them. Again, I'm curious where they're going to go with this. Like, if they are a traveling dog act already, they've got to have a lot more to show us. There must be something there.
Yep.
Okay. Other judges' comments. Heidi said the concept is genius, and Sophia said perfect. Nothing bad to say about it. So creative, so much fun. So really high praise from the judges. 4 yeses. They're going to move on. Any more thoughts on Canine Stars?
No, I think we've covered it, especially since we've gone back and talked about some of our favorite animal acts.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you, the one that keeps coming to my mind. How about the piano playing chicken?
Yes, Juco, the piano chicken.
Yeah.
Yes.
Better or worse than the piano playing chicken?
Better than the piano playing chicken, because they didn't need little dots on the keyboard to figure out where to play, and I don't think that they're going to completely not do their act in the next round.
Okay, so here's my problem with this act.
Okay,
what did the dogs do?
Well, you did have Delta, who did some tricks. Yes,
there was one dog that did tricks that were not that impressive of tricks, right?
Well, she only had a short window in her little piece of the show.
Okay, and then you had the Terry Crews dog that came out and licked the microphone.
Yes, you had that, which you can just put some peanut butter on the microphone and let it go to town. Yes. And then the other dogs sat there and they were very, very cute. They smiled a lot, which I liked. And the Howie Mandel wore glasses. So
okay. That's my problem with the act.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm not saying it's a great act. I'm just saying I'm interested now because it's different than what we've seen with previous animal acts.
Yeah.
I do not think this is a winning act.
No.
Yeah.
and I could go back and look at how I power ranked these, but I did not have this very high on my
Yeah. Yeah.
list.
That's a good teaser. Stay tuned at the end, everyone. We power ranked all the acts. So
Okay.
stick around for that.
Okay. So Canine Stars, not a winning act, not a bad act. It was fun. It was cute.
It's very middle of the road. Yeah.
But it's as animal acts go, it's at least a different one. So
yes. Yep.
We'll go with that.
I think genius is probably a little strong, but unique and
well, if I were Howie Mandel, I would feel really flattered.
Right? Yes.
If I were
well, he got a Polaroid with the dog. So
if I were Simon Howell, I would feel really flattered. But I'm again not sure that. Okay, all right, we need to move on. We're repeating ourselves now. Okay, we've got second act of the night, second act of the season. Peter Rosalita. He is a adorable, cute 10-year-old boy.
Yes.
He's going to sing for us. He's going to sing Celine Dion's All by Myself. Is this on the Cody Patterson playlist?
So it's not on the playlist. And I think that the original artist is Eric Carmen, I think is the original artist for this.
Okay.
Yeah, Celine Dion did probably popularized it. The original artist, Eric Carmen, All by Myself. It is now on the playlist. It was not on the playlist before this, but then I went back and checked, and this should be on the playlist. So it is now.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, thank you, Peter, for getting on to Cody's playlist where you belong. Okay. Cute 10-year-old kid. He's wearing a 3-piece white suit.
Loved the suit. Loved the suit.
He looked sharp. He was dapper.
Yes.
He's a capable singer. And so any thoughts on his voice, on his singing, on his stage presence?
Sure.
Give me a little feedback there.
Sure. So I think he's got a fantastic voice. I think I was going to ask, is he good for a kid? But I think he's just good. I think he's a good singer. Stage presence, I think he's got something. I loved the 3-piece white suit. He's got fantastic manners. He speaks very eloquently. He said he lives in the UAE now, is that right? But he's Filipino. He's a Philippine citizen.
Yeah.
Do I have that right?
He's a native English speaker, or I don't think it's his first language.
Right. But he speaks very well. He speaks English very well.
Yeah.
Yes. So he's an adorable little kid. He's got something, but I'm going to shift real quick and just say, I don't think this was the right song.
I could agree with that.
Okay. I would like to have had something maybe a little more, a little quicker, a little faster pace. I mean, he could have done something a little slower, but I think the All by Myself is kind of, it's weird to hear a kid sing that. I mean, I guess kids could be all by themselves. It felt weird. It didn't feel like it didn't feel right that he was singing this song.
All right. Yeah. Maybe not a great song choice.
I hear you've got reservations.
Miles.
Yes.
Personality for Miles. Adorable, cute, well-spoken, great banter with the judges, right? All that stuff. And I'm trying to figure out how I feel about him. I'm still not sure. So kids who sing like adults can be kind of a turnoff, right? Kids who sing like kids can be kind of a turnoff. And I feel like he might have just like struck that balance between still being a kid and having a really actually very good voice.
Yes.
So there's something very marketable about Peter Rosalita. Sorry, adjusting my chair there. So I like him. Standing ovation from the judges. Like the last act. Is this something that we can see winning? I don't see him being a winning act, but I could see him making depending on how many rounds there are, making it a couple rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could be a winning act depending on what he sings later on. I think he's definitely we're still early. We don't know what's to come in the other auditions, but I think he could be a finalist, I would say.
Okay. I I didn't find him that memorable.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and that's sometimes just what I have to go on. What does
Yeah.
my gut say after um, after spending some time, being a couple days removed from watching it? Is this a memorable act? Not really. It's
And I think what's more memorable for me, and it may not be the singing. I did enjoy the singing, but I think what's more memorable, it's a kid wearing a white three-piece suit who interacts very well with the judges. Didn't show any nervousness or shyness at all. Came out as very confident on the stage, and I think that's what's more memorable to me than his singing. But I like the singing. I thought it was. I mean, I'm not a Jay. We're not big on the singers, but I
no.
did like this.
All
So
right. Okay. Sophia said, "You're so adorable." Howie said, "You're amazing and you're so cute." Heidi said, "Incredible." And what do your neighbors say when you sing like that? And Simon said, "This was an incredible audition. There were parts that literally gave me goosebumps. You have an amazing voice, amazing personality, and amazing energy." So pretty high praise from all the judges. Of course, four yeses. He's going through. Um, uh, yeah, I'm. Uh,
there's something there.
there's something there with a little
Yeah.
bit of coaching, with a little bit of production. He could have some legs in the competition. I found him less memorable maybe than others did.
Okay. I think we're kind of bearing the lead on everything else though, Jay. If he wins the $1 million, he's going to buy a Nintendo Switch and a laptop for his online schooling.
Yes. Well, at $20,000 a year for 40 years or whatever it is,
Yes,
that'll work out just fine.
that'll work out just fine. Yes.
uh, yeah, it's don't count on living off the $1 million that they're going to award you. Count
Yeah.
on using your name recognition to
Yes.
turn that into some money, some time. So, all right. Well, thank you, Peter, Rosalita. We will hope to see more of you. Hopefully, you can continue to step it up and improve the production, improve the act, and maybe we'll see him for a little while on the show.
Yeah.
Next act of the night, we've got Brian Pankey, listed as a novelty act. It says that he once performed at Madison Square Garden, and he's been doing this for 30 years. He does some juggling, and he spins the basketball on the tip of an umbrella, and that umbrella then is balanced on his chin. Sophia liked it. What do you think of Brian Pankey?
Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't make any comments. I didn't take any notes on him.
All right. Well, he's not going through. So that's Brian Pankey.
Yeah. Sorry, listeners.
The Electro Boys. We got a group of guys.
Electrobots.
Electrobots. B-O-T-Z, not B-O-Y-Z.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Electrobots. They're going to come out. They're wearing like black and silver robot costumes. And they enter the stage like all in sync and like doing robot moves, herky jerky like that. They go on to the actual performance, and it wasn't great.
Nope, wasn't good at all.
Howie said this seemed like a high school talent show. Heidi said, "Well, I mean, you guys aren't professionals." And they're like, "Well, actually, we are." And she's like, "Well, maybe this wasn't just a great performance."
Yeah, I mean,
Simon wasn't blown away.
Yeah, I mean, that can happen. I mean, you're professionals, but sometimes it doesn't work out for you. Something happens, or you have a bad night, or maybe you're just really not that good. So,
yeah. You can be a professional dancer and not be a good dancer. You can be a professional, IT guy and not be very good at IT, right?
Hey,
You can
what are you saying?
uh, nothing, not
Okay.
personal. I was just trying
Okay.
to think of fields that people work in. You can be a professional teacher and not be very good at it, right? Um, so the Electrobots. I wonder if these guys perform together professionally or if they perform individually professionally,
I'm
and
gonna say
they came
yes,
together.
and I'm gonna say yes and yes.
Yeah, I think that maybe they came together for this performance, and had this
Yeah.
vision of what they were going to do, and it just didn't
Yeah.
land.
What'd you think of the costumes?
I thought they looked pretty good.
Okay.
Uh,
With
I,
the like the Tin Man, they look like basically look like the Tin Man with some spiral glasses on.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I didn't make the note that I said was they have black and silver robot
Yeah.
type costumes on.
Yeah.
So that's yeah. I guess it was at least notable. That much. Okay. All right. That was Electrobots. They're not going through. Judges weren't impressed. Neither were we. Next act of the night, we've got Aidan Bryant. He's an aerialist. He is 16 years old. He learned everything that he knows from YouTube and Pink. So,
So Jay, what all have you learned from YouTube?
I've learned a lot of things like how to fix various parts of my car,
Okay.
various, small appliances around the house, that sort of stuff. That
Nothing where you're 15 feet in the air and if you fall, then
No,
okay.
no, I haven't learned any death defying stunts tricks.
Okay. Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, I learned how to do my IT stuff from YouTube. Fix things around the house. I learned how to edit this podcast from YouTube, but nothing that's going to put my life in danger.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
watch your mouth on the podcast, and we'll hopefully nobody's coming after you. Okay, so he watches YouTube videos. He learns what he's learned from YouTube, and apparently Pink also did some aerial stuff in her concerts.
Pink is not on the playlist,
Okay,
so
all right. Okay, so Aidan Bryant is going to be the first act of the season to get a video package.
ah.
So I feel like maybe he's going through. Um, and they allude to, but they don't go into much detail about this. But he says he's kind of struggled with being different his whole life, and he discovered sort of this hobby of doing aerialist stunts, and it's kind of the outlet that he needed. He performs on a hoop hanging from the ceiling. Looked like it was maybe a 4.5 foot diameter hoop. He does lots of spinning. Some of it was very fast. He drapes himself over the hoop backwards and forwards, and his legs and his arms and whatever. He's all sorts of different things that he does on the hoop. um, I'm usually not very taken with aerialists. This was fine. What do you think of the actual act itself?
I mean, I like the aerialist. I think they've put a little danger into it. This kid can spin fast. And in his package, they showed him doing some silks. So it's not like it seems like he can do more than just the hoop.
Hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see what he does going as he goes throughout the show. Um, so I enjoyed this. I thought it was fun. It's interesting that he learned this what 2 years ago, year and a half
Yeah.
ago from YouTube and watching Pink. So he's not professionally trained. He figured this out on his own. I thought he did a pretty good job. If you look at the package, the beginnings he was pretty raw. I mean, he was slow. He was figuring things out, and then in this, he was much smoother. He spun very quickly. I think he's come a long way in the last year and a half.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if it takes kind of an outsider like an Aidan Bryant who's like, huh, I wonder if I can do that. And He's going to interact with the aerialist apparatus is different than a professionally trained aerialist.
Mhm.
He's going to say, "Oh, I wonder if I can do it this unconventional way or that unconventional way," and
Mhm.
maybe just maybe um, bring something completely new, completely different, completely original to the art form.
Yeah.
Um, I fear that he's too young and too inexperienced to go too far in the competition. Uh, Judges liked him. He got 4 yeses. But I'm, you know, I was happy to see the novelty act. I was happy to see something different, something new. He can't just rely on his story, to make it through a few
Yeah.
rounds.
Yeah. I,
Um,
I think I think he's got more than his story here. I mean, he's shown that he's really good at this.
okay, all right.
So
Uh,
let's let real quick, Jay. Let's compare him to some other arealists that we've seen.
okay,
You ready for this?
I'll do my best.
Okay, so another legend that we've heard and we talk about all the time, Sophie Dossie. Do you consider her an aerialist?
Uh,
She did some aerial. I think she did one aerial act.
she's like a whole three-ring circus, man.
She is,
Like she,
yes.
uh, Sophie Dossie has more in her quiver than Aidan Bryant does. So I
Is
will say Sophie Dossie is the better performer.
is the pun intended for that?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
Now, do you remember Timber Brown?
Timber Brown, not ringing a bell. What?
Season 8.
Okay, boy, that's a
He was
while
an
ago.
air. Yeah, that was a while ago. So we're going back to Sharon and Pierce and
Yeah, that one's not ringing a bell. I'm sorry.
okay, that's fine. Matthew Richardson. Does this one ring a bell?
Nope.
Okay. What about this one? Alan Silva. Does that ring a bell?
That one I remember. I was just
Okay.
waiting for Alan Silva. Uh, Alan Silva, he's the little person.
Yep.
Uh,
Brother of Deadly Games.
yes. Um,
Yes.
so he has a lot going for him, right? He's like memorable because of his short stature, right?
Mhm.
He is very strong and very a very capable, like you can tell that he's been professionally trained on this and spent a lot of years on it. Um, so yeah, I would give the edge to Alan Silva on that one.
Okay. Do you think he can? Do you think he can do what Alan Silva did just based on one performance that we've seen? Do you think he can? Do you think we'll see that throughout the season?
I'm I'm gonna say yes,
Okay.
but being a total novice to the art of aerialist contraptions, like
Yeah.
I don't know a good aerialist from an average aerialist, right? I know a bad one because they might fall or they make mistakes that are obvious, but like, you know, a pretty good aerialist and a very good aerialist, I don't know the difference. So, to my eye, he is as good as Alan Silva or any of the other aerialists we've seen on the show, but I don't know. Like
Okay.
it's just not something that I've been trained to be able to tell good from bad.
Sure. That seems fair. And the last one we have, and we just talked about him in our season 2 rewatch, Brandon Pareda. Do
Brandon
you remember him?
Pareda, I do. I don't think that he went. Did he go into the second round even?
He may not even got. Yeah. Let me double check that
Or
real quick.
maybe
So I didn't make a
eliminated
note of
at
that.
judge cuts. Um,
Well, season 2. So let me just double check that real quick because I didn't make a note of that. Pareda. Brandon Pareda. What did he do? He went. Yeah, he just went to auditions. Yep.
yeah. So Aidan Bryant, he impressed the judges more than Brandon did. Totally different judging panel, totally different expectations, totally different in so many ways. Um, I don't know. Why not say Aidan is better than Brandon?
Okay, fair enough. So that's the list of aerialists that I have. So
All right. Um, yeah, the only other aerial list that comes to mind is our favorite, and I don't even know again would this qualify, but the Russian bar trio.
yes,
Uh, they they did in fact hang things and strap themselves to things hanging from the ceiling.
they strapped themselves to a piano and hung upside down from a ceiling. Yep,
So this might
yep.
be better or maybe less memorable. I don't know.
Yeah, they're memorable for different reasons.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Okay, there you go. There's Aidan Bryant. Let's talk about Mr. Cherry and his assistant, Cheeky.
yeah. Sure.
So Mr. Cherry, he's also going to get a video package.
Is he
Mm,
going through?
I think he must be, right? Uh, so Mr. Cherry, um, he's going to set a new world record by smashing walnuts with his butt in 30 seconds. And the world record is 71 walnuts. So, for some unexplicable reason, they line up 63 walnuts on the stage. And then they had to stop and find more walnuts. I don't know what's happening here. They found some walnuts. And so now they've lined up 80 walnuts on the stage. Um, he is going to again smash walnuts with his butt. So, like he both feet on the ground and one hand on the ground. He's going to drop his butt onto the walnut and then bounce over to the next one, bounce over to the next one, bounce over to the next one, and kind of bounce his butt across the stage and crack all these walnuts. And in 30 seconds, he smashes 79 walnuts. He destroys the world record of walnut smashing with buttocks. um, so I did a little bit of work here,
Okay.
and I think you're going to appreciate this. If someone were to beat the current 100-meter dash world record by as much as he beat the walnut butt smashing world record, the world record would drop from 9.58 seconds to 8.6 seconds.
Whoa, that's some
Okay.
good math there, Jay.
If someone were to, the current world record high jump is 8.25. If someone were to literally raise the bar by as much as Mr. Cherry did, they would be jumping 8 feet 11.25 inches. Okay.
That's
Uh,
amazing.
it's mind boggling how good
Yes.
he is at
Yeah.
smashing walnuts with his butt.
Yes.
If the current world record for hot dog eating is 73, if you were to break that world record by as much as Mr. Cherry broke the walnut butt smashing world record, it would go from 73 to 81.
Yeah.
So he's so ridiculously good at this. I don't think that I can overstate it.
Is he a professional world record breaker?
I'm not sure what he does.
Because it said
It's a little bit
he
unclear.
held. It says he holds 20. He currently holds 22 records.
Um, yeah, I guess. I don't know. He he he's got personality. His assistant
Yes.
Cheeky's got some personality. They seem a lot of fun. Um, what else is he going to do for us? I don't know. I'd love
Okay.
to see what else he's going to do for us.
Well, I'm going to give you this, Jay. I just looked it up. GuinnessWorldRecords.com.
Okay.
5 Mr. Cherry challenges to attempt from Guinness World Records.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so these are his 5 records that he has or
Okay.
had in 2018. Most apples bobbed in 1 minute.
Ooh, that's a fun one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Most socks put on 1 foot in 30 seconds.
Wait, are you going to tell us what these numbers are?
Oh, you want the record? Okay, sorry.
I want to
sorry.
know how many apples have been bobbed.
Sure. So Cherry achieved a total of 37 pieces of fruit.
Okay.
The rules include making sure each apple weighs at least 142 grams or 5 ounces for us in the US.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you definitely want to use as small apples as you can if you're gonna be going for the
yes.
apple bobbing world record.
Yep.
Uh,
Okay. So most socks put on 1 foot in 30 seconds.
okay, let me guess what the number is.
Sure.
I'm gonna go with 20.
You're close. 26.
26. Okay. All right.
Yep. Yep. Most shuttlecocks caught with chopsticks in 1 minute.
Ooh. Easier than a fly. Let's go with shuttlecocks caught with chopsticks in a minute. 32.
You're a little high. 23.
23. Okay. That's what I meant.
Yep.
Sorry. It switched
Okay.
the number. Okay.
Okay. Well, most underpants pulled on in 1 minute.
Ooh, this is very similar to the socks.
Yes.
So
he's got a whole dress world record routine thing he's going.
Okay, he was about a sock a second, a little short of that. Underwear, I don't think you can get both legs in quite as fast. Let's go with 40.
You're close. 36.
36. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You're good at this. You're pretty good at this. And then the last one, most baked beans eaten with chopsticks in 1 minute.
Ooh. Let's see. He's pretty good on the shuttlecocks with the chopsticks. Pretty good, with the mouth and the apple bobbing. 1 minute, baked beans. I'm assuming rules are one at a time.
One bean at a time. Yes.
Let's go with 80.
You're a little high. Oh, 71.
Oh, geez. All right. All right. That was a fun game. I like that. That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mr. Cherry, he has a lot of world records, and I've got a lot of catching up to do, I guess. Yeah. If I could, smash the world records the way that he does, who knows?
Well, you got to first learn to use chopsticks effectively.
I know how. I do occasionally. Never caught a shuttlecock with a chopstick, if you know what I mean. That's okay. Yeah. Okay, so he finishes. He gets 79 smashed. Remember, there was 80 of them lined up. So Sophia's going to give it a go. She's going to go up on stage and try and smash the last walnut with her own buttocks, and hurts herself in the process and does not smash the walnut. So, like, it's hard, right? We've, I guess, answered that question.
Yeah. Now, Jay, not to be that guy, but I think Heidi's caboose is probably a little more tight than Sophia's caboose.
Sophia's a curvier woman.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think that Simon or Howie probably has a better chance at smashing it themselves, but I don't know. And we say his buttocks, but it's almost like his hip bone is what he was really using to land on him with.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think that with the right technique, any of the four of the judges could, in fact, bust walnuts. But they hadn't been trained on the proper technique yet.
Yeah. Now, while they were waiting for the stage crew to put enough walnuts out, they did some jokes using nuts. And I wish, and I know I'm teasing this, I wish I had written them down.
I didn't write them down either.
Yeah. I think we missed an opportunity here, Jay, by telling some. Were they puns? Is that what they said? I think they told some nut puns.
Some nut puns.
Yeah.
Like, anytime that you're referring to genitalia in your jokes, like, it's not the highest form of comedy, I guess. There's a place for it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that the show kind of went there, right? It's fun. Unnecessary, but it's fun.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
Okay. Simon said, I want to see more. Yes. Howie said, it doesn't seem like much. He's going to give it a no. Sophia says, I'm still in pain, so I'm going to have to say yes. So Mr. Cherry's got 2 yeses, a no from Howie, and Heidi says, I don't need to see it again, so it's a no. And there you go. That's thanks for coming, Mr. Cherry.
Yep.
You've been eliminated.
Yep.
Uh,
It'd be interesting. I mean, this could be an act. I mean, if his act is to come out and break world records, it'd be interesting to see if that's something he does day in, day out.
well, we've seen acts
So
like this, right?
yes, okay. So yeah, so that's where I was real quick. I was going to kind of get to that.
Okay.
I don't know if you're aware of this, Jay, but I'm trying to brighten my dark period a little more.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I've been doing a binge watch of season 10.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Yes. So it's in one of the audition episodes, there was a guy that tried to break a world record by smashing watermelons with his forehead.
And failed, if I recall. Is that right?
And I think he actually did it, but it was like right at the end. But
Okay.
yeah, but he was pretty woozy afterwards. So
Yeah. This is a really hard act to bring onto the Got Talent stage, right? You need to find something that you can in fact break the world record, because if you don't break it, like, oh, what did we just come here to see, right?
yeah,
uh so like there's that, and you can't just break the same record over and over, because we
you got to
also
max
saw
out at some
that.
point. Yeah.
Like it wouldn't be impressive if the world record went from 71 to 72, and then he comes back for judge cuts and he hits 73, and then auditions 1 he hits 74, like, or quarterfinals, and then semifinals 75. Like, no, that's just not going to do it, right?
Yeah.
um so yeah, you need to find whatever it is, underwater pogo sticking, and card flipping, and whatever the other things is that he does, sock putting on, and underwear wearing, like,
Yeah, I mean the chopsticks with the shuttlecocks would be interesting to watch.
I think that might make for a pretty good stage
Yeah.
performance, actually. So, but you have to break that world record every time.
Yes.
You can't
Yes.
just like, I'm going to attempt it, and well, I missed, so
Yeah. Yeah.
like, maybe next
Yeah.
time, vote me
Yeah.
through.
The act has to be I'm going to break the world record, not attempt.
Yes.
Yes. Every time you
And
come on the stage, you have to break a world record.
that's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I'll leave it at that. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, Mr. Cherry is going to get 2 checks and 2 X's. He's not going to get the quorum. He's not going to go through.
He was upset about it.
I would be too.
He was really upset about it.
I would be butthurt.
Wow, Jay. Wow.
I went there. Okay. Yeah, I'd be just as butthurt as Mr. Cherry. So
I'm
there you go.
Writing the time code down on that.
Okay. All right. Keep it family friendly. All right. Next act of the night. Are we ready to talk Northwell Health Nurse Choir?
Yes. And I will just say before we get into it, I messaged our friend of the podcast, Steven Anderson, and said, I'm feeling it.
You were right. Okay. The Northwell Health Nurse Choir is exactly what you think they are. We've got, they're all frontline workers. They are not professional singers. This is the most America's Got Feelsy, America's Got Talent act of them all.
Yep.
They're very multicultural. They are all heroes. They are all, they don't shy away from using that hero language. They're professional people. They're all attractive. Like, they've got so much going for them, right? They didn't even have to sing. and they were already going through. Like
Yeah.
it was already in the cards.
Yeah.
They're going to sing a sort of mashup of "Lean on Me" and "Stand by Me," um, which I like the juxtaposition of those two songs, right?
Hmm.
"Leaning on Me" and "Standing by Me." Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
will
was
carry you,
confused
and
when it,
also you will carry me, right?
yeah, I was confused because when it started, I was like, well, that's the tune to Lean on Me. But then they go into Stand by Me. And I'm like, so that's why I was confused by that.
Yeah. So I enjoyed the composition of the song,
Yeah.
and sort of the message that sent. Not so. It wasn't as beat you over the head with it, right? They let the lyrics of the song stand for themselves, or the message of those two songs, interleaved together. They let that stand. They let that breathe without beating us over the head with it. Like, hey, we're nurses who are in a choir who aren't professional singers, but we're actually pretty good singers, and we're heroes. And also, did you notice there's a pandemic, right? Like, um,
Check, check,
so
check, check, check. It's like,
right.
yeah.
Uh, all right. So Simon says, "We need you. The world needs you. It's going to touch a lot of people. I'm going to remember this audition." Sophia said it was beautiful, heartfelt, dynamic. Heidi said, "I had chills while you were singing. I loved it." Howie said, "One word comes to mind: heroic. You stand by people you don't know, and I want to stand by you." And he gets up out of his chair and he inches closer to the middle of the table where the golden buzzer is. And he says, "You are the most inspiring moment I've had in the last year for who you are and what you do. Thank you." And he hits the golden buzzer, and uh, the confetti flies, and there's crying and hugging and happiness all around. Um, so I'm having trouble what to do with this act in my head.
Yeah.
Um, the the America's Got Feels of it
Yep.
is like, this act is going to go at least a couple of rounds.
Yep.
Are they a winning act? They might be. They might be good enough on top of all the the mountain that they're already standing on top of, that makes them a memorable, interesting group. They've got the gold buzzer, so they're through to live rounds or wherever that's going to push them through to. So I mean, they're out of the gates like a rocket here. Um, but sometimes you can't just have a meal made out of syrup, right? I am not Elf, and the five major food groups aren't candy and candy corn and syrup and sugar and I don't remember what. So, uh, like, sometimes it's too much sweet, but they actually kind of did live up to it. Like, they were actually pretty good. So I don't know. What do you think of Northwell Health Nurse Choir?
So I do want to say, Jay, thank you for all the nurses. I want to get that out there. I mean, we're going to bash on this a little bit. I am going to say we're going to bash on this a little bit, but I want to say thank you to all the nurses. My sister-in-law is a nurse. I work with nurses where I work. They're amazing. They've done an incredible job over the last year and a half. They've been through a lot. So I want to just get that out there.
I want to be on the record as echoing that sentiment.
Yes, 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 yes. Because we want to thank our people, the nurses. They've done a great job. Now, if we go back to the act, the choir, I thought the singing was fine. I thought it was okay. I thought they didn't have any pitch issues. They were on beat. They were on tempo. They harmonized real well. They had a few good soloists. I mean, it was nice to feature a few soloists. That always kind of elevates you. We've seen from previous choirs and groups where they don't feature a soloist and it really misses something. So it was nice to kind of have that. The song was very fitting for the situation that we've been in and the messages they were trying to tell. But as far as just being entertaining, I thought it was just okay. It was a fine performance. it wasn't anything that just blew me away.
Yep.
Yep.
You put that really, really well.
Yeah. So,
Okay. I don't need to say anything more than I've said.
fine.
You know,
Just let me just throw me under, Jay.
no,
Okay.
that's what I was trying to express the
Okay.
whole time.
Okay.
Like,
Yes. Yes.
this saccharine sweet, we are heroes, we're nurses, we're not professional singers, we're just
Yeah.
amateurs who love to sing and love
Yep.
people, and we've been working through this pandemic, and we've finally got this opportunity to sing together, and we sing decently, and we put together the song. And the performance, like you said, was fine,
Yeah.
but everything surrounding the performance is what elevates them to being a golden buzzer worthy act.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, like, is this the act that deserves the golden buzzer? Probably. Yeah. So I don't have a problem with it going here.
Yeah. Just if you were to remove all this stuff from around them and just put them on the stage and they just sing as a choir, I think they're just, I mean, I think they do get through, but it's like, you guys were on key. It was nice that you featured some of your soloists. You did a great job. 4 yeses, and they move on.
Yeah.
But you've got all this other stuff that we've got to accentuate and make sure that we reward them. And we want to reward our nurses because they've worked hard the last year and a half. But here we're here to judge talent. So
yeah. So this is an interesting one.
okay.
And there's something about the fact that they're amateurs that is
Yep.
extra endearing.
Yep.
And maybe at some point, the amateurness is not going to be as interesting, when they're up against professionals, when they're up
Yep.
against the very best and the best in their field. They might feel like, oh yeah, that's just not very good, is it?
Yeah. Well,
But
and Jay, I think we've talked over the years, and I've even read and talked to other people about professionals coming on this, people that have already kind of established their career, and they've won other talent singing shows, and then they come here and they compete, and they don't think that belongs. Well, now we have an act that is amateurs. They're not professionals, and we're kind of bagging on them about it. And so it's and so AGT is supposed to be this talent show where people that are not known can now come on stage and perform and hopefully get kickstart their career, something they've been dreaming of doing. And these nurses have now come on the stage and done that, and now we're like, thanks for coming.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
That's I don't know, that's part of the ongoing conversation that we're having, right?
Yes.
Like it's sort of the subtext to so many of the conversations that we've had over the years of doing this is this what we want America's Got Talent to be, or isn't it? And in so many ways it's exactly what I want America's Got Talent to be. And I want the guy who just has a passion for singing, but I'm a chicken catcher's my day job.
Wow, you went all the way back to season 3. Good job. Or season 4. Good job.
I want to have a place for that. But like your Ryan Niemillers and your comedians who've been hoofing it on the road for years and years that are just not able to quite catch that break. Like, you can make a living as a comedian, and you perfect your material, and you perfect your timing, and you perfect your banter and all that stuff, and that takes effort, and it takes being on stage, and there's no way to do that without being a professional, is there?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
It would be, and I don't know. You can be a professional and be not very good at something, like we've established.
We've established that, yes.
But I guess I'm not sure where I want to leave this conversation, other than saying that, there is a place for the amateurs.
Mhm.
I tend to appreciate the people who have a passion for a thing, a hobby, and are able to bring that to the stage, and we go, wow, that's really fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. A girl who just picks up ventriloquism on her own comes on a stage and blows us away.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just have one final thought on this before we move on. I love that this happened in the middle of the show.
Yes.
Yes, I mean
Thank
it was
you.
it was a giveaway when they came on this when they when they did the opening package. I was like, well, this is it. But it was still
Yeah.
nice that it was in the middle of the show
Instead of the end. Yes.
instead of the
We
end.
didn't
Yes.
we didn't just wait for the last 5-10 minutes to
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
Um I'm things are clicking in my brain here.
Sure. Yep.
I'm wondering if child acts and this conversation about amateurs, professionals, there's some overlap here, right?
Okay.
We like child acts because we know they're not professionals,
Mhm.
right? And this is just something that they have a passion for, and that passion comes out in their in their performance, right? I'm passionate about singing, and I'm a pretty good singer, and I've have the time and the energy to put into singing, and I'm clearly not a professional singer. I'm 10, but hey, that's pretty good. You're an amateur singer, and it's fun to watch. There's something there. I'm not quite articulating it the way that I want
Yep.
to.
Yeah.
But I feel like the amateur child act, there's some overlap here that in the Venn diagram is happening. So that's where I want to leave that.
Okay. Sure. Yep. Thank you,
Uh,
nurses.
all right, thank you, nurses, all of you nurses.
I hope you all are listening listening to this podcast during your shift. Thank you
That's,
very much.
please and thank you. Okay, next act of the night is Katie K. She's going to be qualified as a novelty act. Solo Jello wrestler, we'll call
Yes,
her.
because you have to
Um,
shake things up during the
it,
pandemic.
it wasn't great.
Nope.
We didn't see much of it. I think it had potential to be funny. Um,
Now, if she
Judges
had
didn't care for it.
like a blow up doll or a mannequin or something along those lines,
Oh
would
yeah,
have elevated
we've seen
it a little bit.
like we've seen like the guy dancing with the inflatable doll, and we've
Yep.
seen some
Yep.
funny stuff that way. That'd be interesting.
Yep.
Um, yeah,
She looked like Allison Brie from Community. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I do not watch Community,
Okay.
but yeah. Unfortunately, we're not going to see Katie K again.
No.
4 X's from the judges. So um, that was Katie K. Next act of the night then is Keith Apicary. He's a dancer. He's 35 years old. He talks with a bit of a speech impediment. He loves video games and dancing. Um, in his conversation with the judges, he says, I am not a dancer. I like to dance. There's a difference. Um, I, I wasn't sure what to expect with Keith
Yep.
Apicary. I was afraid that following Miss Katie K, that this was going to be another kind of like um, make fun of them on their way out the door kind of act, um, but it wasn't. So kind of the pleasant surprise that way, right? Lots of flailing, some actually pretty athletic moves that he did. Um, this was a fun act. This was a fun act. Cannot win, should not win, but it did make me smile. What'd you think of Keith?
Yeah. So this was a lot of fun. Again, I was like you. I didn't, and like the judges, and I think everyone else, pleasantly surprised for what happened when the music started. It had a lot of like Napoleon Dynamite feels to it.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
And the way that his dancing was, I mean, it was spot on. It was fun. At the end, he even kind of fell off the stage a little bit. It seems like this guy is um, has some, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for, Jay?
Stage
Help me out here.
presence.
No, that's not really what I'm looking for.
Panache.
Yes, sure. I mean, but he seems like he's got some mental um
Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
he could be like on the autistic spectrum,
could be.
or yeah.
Um, so real quick, Jay, I'm gonna kind of blow your mind for a moment, okay?
Okay.
And for anyone that doesn't want to know this, skip ahead a few minutes because I'm getting ready to spoil something and blow your mind. Okay. His name is
Okay.
not Keith Apicary. This is a character. His
Oh.
real name is Nathan Barnett,
Okay.
and he's, according to his wiki, an American actor, comedian, dancer, YouTuber, and filmmaker.
Okay. Um. So he. This is a character. All
This
right.
is a
So
character. Yes,
he puts on the
he's a
show
professional. He's a
of
professional.
uh of
Yeah.
of yeah, the
Yes.
35-year-old that lives in his mom's basement and loves
Yes.
video games and
Yep.
dancing. But
Yep.
okay. All right. Okay. That does not surprise me much. Um, but he's a pretty
And
good actor. So
he's a
I'll
really
say
good
that.
actor. Yeah. And going back, and I watched I watched the show, I think 3 times to get everything. And each time I watched his performance, I noticed a few things that just seemed um, like he was playing a character, like he
Mm-hmm.
was acting things out, and that um, it didn't feel like natural. It didn't feel. I mean, he's a really good actor, and the first time it seemed it was very realistic. But after a couple of rewatches, I could tell a few nuances that um, kind of gave it away some.
Yeah.
But I don't know if going forward he's going to stay in this character. He may,
Okay.
or if he may try something different.
He's gonna go boy Brittany on his boy Shakira.
I go boy Brittany on his boy Shakira. Yes.
Is that too deep?
See,
I don't know.
nope. Season 2 rewatch. Nice plug.
Okay.
Good job.
All right. So um that definitely changes my perception of the act.
Okay.
Um, I'm kind of feeling like, what do I want to say?
Were you swindled? You feel like you were swindled?
I'm feeling a little swindled. I'm
Okay.
wondering about the political correctness of playing the part of somebody who is, on the spectrum, or
Okay.
uh, has differences in their abilities, and then maybe using that as a uh, as a vault into this, oh, that was a surprise. We didn't see that coming. Um,
Yeah, but we see this really all the time on skit shows like Saturday Night Live, and it's probably a little dated, but like Mad TV, and yeah, it says here he's a performer at the Upright Citizens Brigade, so they probably do those types of characters there as well. Um, so there's precedent for something like this.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know. That turns me off a little bit.
okay.
But
So how does it make you see the act now? How does it? What was your? Let me ask this. What was your opinion of the act before you found that out? Did you
um,
enjoy it? I mean, it was
I said it was pretty fun,
yeah.
but he cannot win. That's
Okay.
that's kind
Yeah.
of how I
Yeah.
felt about it before.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you know, Judge's comments says, I thought this was going to be awful, but I loved every second of it. I thought you were amazing. I'd rather watch you than the ballet. Sophia said it was so unexpected. Heidi said you did the worm, and I don't even know. Howie said you were a surprise. So this is like a dancer who this is an actor who can dance.
Yes. It's not a dancer who can act.
not a not a
He's
dancer who
first
can
an
act.
actor.
Not
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he's
an actor
first an
before
actor. Yes.
before he's a dancer,
Yes.
not a dancer before he's I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even.
You seem very dejected. You seem very like I just took the wind out of you, Jay.
A little bit, a little bit.
Okay.
Um, not that Keith Apicary filled me with a whole lot of wind, but I might have to
Okay.
go back and review my power rankings after that. I'm not sure even where I had
Uh-oh.
him.
So do you
Uh,
give him more credit being playing a character? I mean, like, does that elevate it?
no, you know what? I'm happy with where I put him now that I look
Okay.
over at the power rankings. So we can talk
Okay.
about that in a minute. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
All right. Well, geez, that's
Sorry about
Keith
that, Jay.
Apicary. No, you know
Sorry.
what?
Everything you knew is now a lie. So
um, no, that's fine.
okay.
He likes to dance. Um, that's still true,
Yes, it is. And he's good at it.
and he's pretty good at it.
He's really pretty good at it. Yeah.
But
Is
like
you know, where would he line up with like a Kenichi?
he's not as good.
Okay.
I think that he had some. I in fact put it in my notes like a little bit like Kenichi, right?
Uh-huh.
Not
Yep.
not a dancer. I'm not a
Mhm.
professional dancer. I'm not a dancer, he says. I just like to dance, right? And that's what we learned about Kenichi during his
He,
season.
he
Like
dance-ish. He's
his
dance-ish.
right. His he says, well, I used to just do the running man where he kind of runs in place
Yeah.
and spins his legs underneath him. Like that's and so he sort of took that and added to it and kept getting better and having more fun with it and figured out these crazy things that he could do with his body. Kind of we talked about the aerialist, like not being a classically trained dancer gives you freedom to try things. And that's what Kenichi did. I'm not sure that Keith has that much, that the character Keith Apicary has that much ability, right? He's not that good
Mm-hmm.
to reach the levels that Kenichi ever did.
Okay. That seems fair.
So,
yep.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they kind of lean into this character and give us a little bit of a glimpse into like, oh, this is just an act, or how's the show going to deal with this? I'm a little curious.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know if the judges knew about that.
Yeah, I'm doubting they did based on their comments.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone would, I think Howie would be the only one that would. Yeah, because he's in the comedy scene. So
right, yeah, he might know him.
Yeah,
what'd you say his name was? Nathan
Barnett.
Nathan Barnett. He might know who Nathan Barnett is before he ever took the stage, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, so four yeses from the judges for the character Keith Apicary. I'm ready to talk about Mr. Gerald Kelly, our stand-up comedian.
Yep.
He says he's been doing stand-up for 30 years, and tonight his son is his competition.
I like this.
So first we're going to have Gerald come on. He's going to do his routine, and then in just a moment we're going to have Lil Hunter Kelly.
Lil Hunter Kelly.
Mm-hmm. Come on and do his set. I enjoy Gerald. He talks a lot about being a dad. This is really good family-friendly material.
Yep. Things you, Jay, can relate to.
Oh, buddy. In so many ways. Talks about, like, oh, this is new math, right? And says, I did my son's homework for him once. He came home, said the teacher gave him 2 zeros. Why'd she do that? 1 for you and 1 for me. So that's the kind of material that he got.
Do you deal with the new math, Jay?
My son is very good at math, so I don't need to help him out with it, thankfully, because it's like he's doing multiplication and division and stuff totally different than how I like to do it, but it seems to work for him. So I
Good.
kind of just
Okay.
get out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think of Gerald Kelly?
I liked him. I have written down here, funny dude. I like that it was good, family friendly, relatable type material. Um, I'm not sure how much of a contender he is. He'd have to really step it up in order to kind of get to that next level. But I mean, I thought it was good jokes that he even talked in his banter with the judges that he set up a little comedy club there at his house and charged admission and told some jokes to the neighbors, and that's kind of what it felt like. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this is if we want to tie this back into our conversation about amateurs and professionals, like he's I'm assuming professional comedian. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know that he has a different day job, but he's
Yeah.
he's out
It,
there, they're working it.
yeah. If he is, he still has some more work to do to kind of get to that next level on this show. I don't feel like he told the jokes that were very, except for maybe the new math, very memorable, or that just completely, that I just laughed out loud at. So he's got to dig deep into that joke book to pull out some for the next round.
Yeah. No, he's good. Sophia said that was fun. Howie said, from the moment you walk on, you're likable. You have good timing and stage presence. I didn't love the material as much as I love you, which I felt
Yep.
was pretty much how I felt. That was
Yep.
pretty spot on.
Yep.
Heidi said, I love the material. So there you go. She disagrees with Howie. And that's comedy, right? It's subjective. Some
Yeah.
people love
Yep.
it and some people don't. Simon said, it started off well, didn't have a very dynamic end. I do think the audience is going to like you. So
Yeah.
high enough praise from the judges, 4 yeses. He's going through. Any more thoughts on Gerald before we
No.
move on to Lil Hunter?
Just real quick, he's got a good personality. He's got seems like good stage presence. So
Yep.
We'll see what the material does the next round.
All right. Well, let's talk Lil Hunter Kelly. This is the son of Gerald Kelly. Did you notice those dimples? Because
I
holy
did not.
cow, what a
No.
what a cute, adorable kid.
Yeah.
Just man.
Yeah. I mean, he was cute and adorable. I did not notice the dimples, but yeah, he's great. He's got good banter with the judges.
Yeah. Good banter with the judges. He says, I love my dad, but he's a loser. I'm 7 years old and we have the same job.
Yeah. Now the punchline worked, but the lead off wasn't very good.
Not very respectful of your father, I guess. Yeah.
No.
My dad said, don't ever get in the car with a stranger. But tonight we took an Uber here. And then he kind of blanks.
Yes. That crowd really intimidated him.
Yeah. Apparently. He tried to recover. He didn't do great. Says, you're probably wondering who my favorite comedian is. Thinking we're going to say it's his dad, but it's Kevin Hart. Why? Because we're the same height. Okay. If Gerald Kelly's material was not good, Lil Hunter Kelly's material was worse.
So let me ask you this: was it good for a kid?
I have a 7-year-old daughter.
Okay.
He is better than her at telling jokes.
Okay.
That is not high praise. But yeah, like the peak comedy for my daughter right now is inserting the word "but" into things.
Well, she the apple didn't fall far from the tree, Jay.
I thought you were going to edit that out. Okay, so um, I did not think this was a good act. And I have issues with child performance anyway. Like, is he a good comedian for a 7-year-old? Sure,
Yeah.
he's a great comedian for a 7-year-old, but he's a bad comedian.
Yeah. This is like a talent show type act.
It was, yeah,
Yeah. It's like
it
a,
wasn't great.
yeah.
Sophia said it was fantastic and your timing's unbelievable. Howie said, when you blank, you handled it, and you did. Heidi said, I can't wait for you to be in this competition. Simon said, I was really taken aback. You have a fantastic opportunity here. So I think that with Gerald Kelly going through, they're like, whatever. Lil Hunter Kelly, you guys, you'll have the same, same hotel room. We don't need to spend another dollar on you anyhow. So we'll just put you through too.
Yeah. Okay. So real quick, Jay. So I went back and looked at kid comedians.
Okay.
I wanted to stay within the same demographic.
All right.
So I went and found a couple of kid comedians, wanted to kind of compare and contrast here.
Oh boy, you're going to be really stretching my memory here.
I know. Okay. So it's not too bad. So we just talked about one of these, season 1, Sid the Kid.
Sid the Kid. Yeah. Sid the Kid was better than Lil Hunter.
Okay. And the other one that I have is Lori Mae Hernandez.
Lori
from season
Mae
11.
Hernandez.
That one's probably a little tougher.
A yellow like romper jumpsuit thing. Is that
probably?
Okay. I don't have a strong enough memory, but I'm gonna go ahead and say probably better than Lil Hunter.
Okay. Yeah. There was a lot of
rank them.
There was a lot of difference of opinion with Lori Mae Hernandez when she was on season 11. So I think she went to semifinals, maybe.
Boy.
So,
yeah, that was a little rough for me to sit through.
Yeah.
Especially like if you blank on your next joke, and like he recovered, but it was obvious that he was recovering. Yes. It wasn't like,
right.
I forgot, but I'm just going to keep on rolling through here. Is like kind of awkward pauses and not transition.
We've seen comedians just completely blank on their set, and then they're like, oh man, I forgot the rest of my jokes. Oh man, give me just a moment. He didn't. He did pause, but we knew he'd kind of blank, but he paused. And he's like, just so you know, my name's Lil Hunter Kelly. And then everything was able to click back in with him.
Yeah, like he was that was his recovery. I'm Lil Hunter Kelly. And I tell you that because I don't want you to forget it. And my next joke is,
which I thought was funny.
Like, he was kind of going to go into like, I'm wrapping this up because I forgot the rest of my set.
Yeah.
But he did in fact recover, but a juggler can pick up that ball that he dropped too. And that's, he recovered.
That's a buzz from peers. So,
yeah. So I don't know. I've spoken enough. I've said enough harsh things about the 7-year-old comedian.
Yes.
Good on him. Good on him for getting up there and doing it. Not something I could have done at 7. Being very familiar with a 7-year-old's capabilities. He's a very good comedian for a kid. So
okay. Yep. Sounds good.
I'll stick with that. I am excited to talk about our next act though.
Okay, sure.
This is One Accord. It's like the numeral 1, a lowercase a capital CHORD. One Accord, vocal trio. They tell us that they met at college just a month and a half ago. One guy's going to sit down at the piano. The other 2 guys are going to sing. They're all 3 like tenors. They've got the higher pitched voices. They do not shy away from those higher voices, and their ability to really lean into some close, tight harmonies. This was good. This is really good.
This was real good. Yeah.
I enjoyed these guys quite a bit. Give me your thoughts on One Accord.
Yeah. So they sang Fix You by Coldplay. Coldplay is on the playlist. This particular song was not. I think I've added it today.
Okay.
Because I think it should have been on the playlist. Um, so it was a very good, not very good. It was an excellent rendition of this song. I like that it
Okay.
was a little bluesy, right? Is that kind of
Sure.
what I'm
Uh,
remembering?
I'm not familiar with the song. I don't listen to Coldplay, but
Oh, okay.
like the performance was just outstanding. I don't need to know
Yeah,
the song to
yeah,
really appreciate the
yeah,
performance.
yeah. Just real quick note. They go to UNC Greensboro, SoCon.
That's
So
hey, close to
repping
home.
this. Yep, repping the SoCon. So um, but no, I really enjoyed this. Like you say, they're all tenors. It would have been nice to kind of maybe had a bass in there. I mean, you're not going to replace one guy to get a bass in there, but they can do some great harmonies with the three tenors. I mean, there's three famous tenors that sang opera for decades. So
Yeah. I think that they use the fact that they're three tenors to their advantage very,
okay,
very well.
okay,
I don't know that adding a baritone or a bass would do much to improve what they have. Like
hmm
they've got this nice tight package. It's unnecessary to go switching that up, I think.
yeah. I did like they had a piano. One of the guys played the piano, so
Yep.
no recorded track. They sang to the piano. Some of it was a cappella, or it felt a cappella.
Yeah,
But you
like he
also,
gave them their starting notes,
uh-huh,
and then they came in together, like
yeah,
all a cappella from there. Yep.
yep, yep. So I think just all around it was really good. These guys are going to do well. They're going to go far.
Yeah, I expect to see them around.
Yep.
Heidi said, I have a feeling this is just the beginning for you guys. Howie said, you sound like so much more than what you are. You're like a three-man choir. Your harmonies are so powerful and so right on. And that's really great insight from Howie, I feel, because he is not a singer, right? That's not
Right.
his forte, but a well-tuned group of singers, sounds like so much more than they are, and that's what they did. Sophia said, if you're singing like this now, imagine when you're working together for a long time. Simon said, I kind of felt I was walking into heaven. You found each other and it works. Everything about this audition was pretty much perfect. um, I will be interested to see what else they bring to the stage.
Yeah.
They've they've got so much going for them. I really, really enjoyed this act. The quality of their singing is second to none.
Yep.
All right, we ready to talk last couple of the acts here?
Yeah. Let's see if
Okay,
we can get
we're
through. Let's see if we can get through the acts. We got some power rankings to talk
all
about.
right. It's only a 2-hour episode, so if we talk more than 2 hours, I kind of feel like we're doing something wrong. But
Hey, we still got 27 more minutes till we hit that. So
okay, all right. Depends how many of my jokes you edit out. We'll see. Next act of the night, we've got Dustin Tavela. He's a magician. Um, he has the judges all do different things. They're going to circle the date on a calendar. They're going to write down a time of day, uh, select a card, whatever. They're going to do all this stuff. He's going to tell the story about adopting their son, Xander, talk about the magic of investing in other people, and what he's got this whole thing that goes together. I wish you had a clock on this because it went
yes.
on and
Yeah.
on and on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
As much as like I've adopted a child. Like I am pro adoption. I am pro opening your family. Your family is what you make it, not necessarily who you're born into. Like I'm all for this, but boy, it was just a little bit slow.
You thought it was
um,
slow?
I thought it went slow.
Okay.
Um,
I felt he kept us engaged throughout the whole thing.
It was
I mean, there was a little bit of downtime, but I felt like he kept us engaged.
it was good, and it was
Yeah.
emotional, and it was powerful, and it's a heartfelt story. But he must have had 5 minutes on the stage. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I might be
I
speaking in hyperbole here, but so at the end of his performance, then he pulls a stuffed bear out of a box, and wouldn't you know it, the card that Heidi chose is the picture of the stuffed bear that he pulled out of the box, and the date that Sophia circled on the calendar is the date that is written on the reveal at the end of his. It's the date that they adopted their son, and the time is the time that's on the clock in the background of the picture of him in the box with the bear. And what was the other thing? I don't even know. It was like, yeah, all the things that the judges did showed up on the box, showed up in the reveal at the end. So whether he forced those things onto the picture or forced the judges into selecting those things, it's hard to say. But the we've seen this kind of trick before. Um, it was good. I like I said, felt it was a little bit slow. You, I guess, were a little bit more engaged with the act than me. What do you think of Dustin's act overall?
Yeah, we have seen this particular performance before. It seemed like it was a different twist on it. It was a little more emotional. It was more personable or personal than what we've seen other magicians do. I'm not gonna say he's done it better, but I felt like it was more engaged. He included all the judges and Terry. He's apparently got Terry's email address now, so he can send him some more pics.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. And then at the beginning, he's like, "Hey, I need for you to help me with something." Terry's like, "Dude, bro, I got you. Whatever you need." So that was kind of fun to see. Um, it it engaged in that it involved his family. I think you and I can kind of relate. My in-laws also adopted their kids, so we're all familiar with the adoption process and what you have to go through to make those kids part of your family. And it's such a joy when that finally happens. So it added the feels a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as just, he didn't have any flubs. There weren't any points in the performance where I felt like uh, it was one of those of, well, how did he do that? I mean, I didn't see any points where he could have um met with the audience before the performance and kind of got them to do one thing and then showed on the screen something else.
I,
It didn't feel like.
I I could probably give you some kind of clue. Do you want me to?
Let's maybe do that offline. How
Okay.
about
All
that?
right.
Yeah,
We'll
let's.
hold that
Yeah,
for offline.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I've already spoiled one thing for the night, and I'm sure the listeners can only handle so much.
Okay. All
um
right.
yeah, so it just it felt a little more clean than some other magicians that we've seen do this particular act before.
Sure. Yeah.
So
It,
I'm
it,
not saying
it
I'm not
was
gonna say it was great, like it didn't blow me away, but it felt smoother.
it was very clean. That's a really
Yeah,
good word to use.
yeah.
Howie said that was amazing, all encompassing of emotion, inspiration, and magic. You checked every box. Heidi said, I'm speechless. I loved it. Sophia said, this was mesmerizing. You deserve to be here more than anyone. Simon said, to anyone who says they don't believe in magic, hello. My mind is slightly blown right now. So, a slightly
Yeah.
blown mind from Simon.
Okay, so real quick, you thought he was on the stage, what, 5 minutes? Or,
I,
well, you're talking about stage or like his entire thing from beginning to end?
okay. I would say that the act itself had to have lasted at least 3 minutes.
Okay.
His whole time on the stage, I would definitely believe clocked in over 5.
Yeah. So from like beginning of his package all the way until the commercial break was like 9 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he didn't have a video package, did he? No.
It seemed like it was very brief, but
If he did, it was very brief. Yeah.
I'm scrolling back through here. Yeah, it might have. Yeah, there really wasn't a package. It was pretty much they introduced him, and then he went and said, "Hey, Terry, I need for you to help me," and then he was on
Oh, yeah.
stage.
And then
So
he was on stage.
yeah,
Yeah. So not a lot of fluff uh, around his act. It was
yeah,
all stuffed into his act.
yeah.
Um, so there you go, Dustin Tavela. I'm excited to see what else he brings. I think that he's got a good stage presence. I like um, I like a feel good act, right?
Yeah.
And that you know that felt good. Um, we'll see what else he brings.
Yeah.
We'll see what else he brings. Maybe he can incorporate some fire next time. Okay, last act of the night. Are you ready to talk about Sethward?
The question is, Jay, are you ready to talk about Sethward?
I'm always ready to talk about Sethward. Um, Now, Sethward is not his given name either.
Yes.
It's Seth. What is it? It's Seth something else.
Yeah.
Pull that up for me. Uh,
Sure.
Sethward, he qualifies as a novelty act. I checked out his Wikipedia page, and it mentions like he does like improv comedy, improv troupe. I highlighted the words absurdist comedy because I felt like that's exactly what we're looking at. This is absurdist comedy. I went back and listened to our season 14, episode 3 episode where
Okay.
you and I discussed Sethward. Um,
Seth, just had it here. Seth Allison is his real name.
Seth Allison. That's right. It was
Yes. Yep.
another first name for a last
Yep.
name. Seth Allison. So um, I went back and listened to our episode where we discussed Sethward, and we said he's not an artist. Like he comes out and he presents himself like an artist, right? Like this avant-garde artistry, but it's actually avant-garde comedy.
Okay.
And it's almost not even a comedy act as much as it is like a danger act. And we
Okay.
and in our season 14 episode, we just discussed how this persona is kind of like Andy Kaufman, where he makes you sit in the uncomfortableness of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And absurdist absurdist is the right word to use. So season 13, he came on America's Got Talent for his first time, and he reenacted a caterpillar entering his chrysalis and becoming a butterfly. And then in season 14, we saw him on stage as a giraffe. And then later in that same episode or same season, I don't.
It's the same
episode.
It may have been later. Yeah, may have been later. Same episode. Yeah.
He came on with a walrus outfit.
Yeah.
And did some, stunts where he landed on his head or landed, in a way that looked uncomfortable, but in his outfits, he's actually pretty well protected, it seems. So this time, he's going to descend from the ceiling wearing a ridiculous peacock outfit.
Massive feathered peacock outfit.
Yeah, like the enormous tail, but it's all like bunched up like a peacock normally does. They don't have it fanned out generally, but like the body part of it, is bulbous in all the areas that is not flattering to his figure.
Looked like he had a massive beer belly.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he makes the judges uncomfortable. His tail feathers fall off, I think, on purpose during the act. He does pick them up and spreads them out, and this is where to clear back at the beginning of our episode here, we talked about the audience reactions, right? Like he picks up those tail feathers and fans them all out, and the audience seems to get kind of on his side here, but what audience? Right? Like, who is he turning?
Who's he peacocking for?
Yeah,
he's literally peacocking. Yes.
Yeah. So the audience kind of seems to turn here. He is going to climb up on a prop rock that's on the stage and is going to pretend to fly off of it or jump off of it. Um, at the end of his performance, there's some kind of costume malfunction, and they blur out his nether regions with a NBC Peacock logo, which was fitting. Um, which is a thing which I do seem to recall that he does end up blurring um, his um, male parts with, requiring some blurring in the past as well, just like he did on this particular performance. Uh, Boy, Sethward, I you
So
love him, you hate him, all of the
yeah.
above. Give me your thoughts on
Okay.
this performance, on Sethward in general. Go.
So he said this is his fourth appearance, right? But he was on
Mm-hmm.
13, 14 twice. So does that count separate, or are
It
we just
it must have.
okay?
I again looked at the fandom Wikipedia page, and there was not. This was something that was brought up in that Wikipedia page, that he said he performed 4 times, or this is his fourth. So they must be counting the Giraffe and Walrus as 2 different ones, or else there was one that was never aired.
Okay. So he's up there. He's a four-timer on AGT. He's up there with what, Christian Stoynev, and there's one other one we've talked about that's like a four-timer.
Uh,
Um,
who's the flamboyant the accordion player? I'm a performer, baby.
Not Hans. Hans?
Hans. Yes, that's what I'm
Hans?
thinking of.
Okay.
Hans.
Okay. Okay. So he's up there on that status. I mean, finalist Christian Stoynev, Hans. I mean, you've got to let the guy through just on that fact alone, that he's come 4 times. Okay, let's put him through. Let's see what he can do. Obviously, he may have something. They producers keep bringing him back,
Yeah.
so let's let's send him through.
It
May
will be
surprise us.
interesting should he get to a point where America can in fact vote on him. Like,
Yes.
does he have enough appeal at this point to actually garner some votes? Like,
Yeah,
do
and we've seen
people
things like
get
this.
this or
Yeah,
don't they?
I think, well, like Hans got to. Did Hans get through on the live show? He may
Uh
have like been eliminated at quarterfinals.
yeah, I'm not sure if he ever received votes from America, or if he was one of those acts that, they kept wild carding him through.
Yes, yeah. So like him, I know this is a little controversial. Singing Trump, like they put him through, and then he gets
Mm-hmm.
the live show and gets booted. So it's, these types of acts have gone all the way to the live show, and then America's just like,
Yeah,
no,
thanks, no
no,
thanks.
yeah, we need to kind of weed this down some. But Sethward's grown on me. I think 13, I was like, this is weird. No, 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 no. 14, he did it once. I'm like, but then the second time, I'm like, okay, I think I may see something. Now I definitely see something.
Okay.
So I think we've done this a long time now. We've watched a lot of acts, we've studied a lot of acts, we've read up on a lot of acts. I think he's got something. And you know, commenter talks all the time about my peanut brain and how I like just fire and flashy things. Commenter, I think Sethward's got something. I think it's deeper than the average viewer can understand. And I think it takes um, a special talent to do what he does.
Yes. Uh, um, this is, kind of like our gentleman earlier, the Keith Apicary, right? Like,
Yes, yes,
the Sethward is a character
yes,
done by Seth Allison, right?
yes.
Keith Apicary is a character done by Nathan Bar
Barnett,
Bartolo
Barnett,
Barnett.
Barnett. Yeah,
uh, and he's created this absurdist character
Mhm.
that, it is about these creatures in nature that he brings to the stage, and he kind of, I don't know where these costumes come from, but like the amount of work, the amount of energy that goes into the costuming is not nothing. The um, feeling uncomfortable, the way that he presents this all is part of the charm. And people don't like to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
People don't like to feel scared, but they still ride roller coasters,
Yep. And go to
you
haunted
know,
houses
and
and
they go to haunted house, right?
yep.
So this is just a different, it's deep. It's
Yeah.
deeper than
Yes.
um let's say the nurse choir that we
Yeah.
talked about, right?
That's very shallow. Not shallow is probably not the right word to use. That's just
It's the opposite of
it's
deep.
I guess, but you
Surface.
can you can take that out of context. Yes.
Yes.
It's so um yeah.
Yeah. So this is one that,
I'm not sure where I was going with that, Jay.
no, that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. And I don't think you're wrong. Like
Yeah.
the the nurse choir, like what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
With Sethward, you don't know what you're gonna get.
Right.
Uh, and people would rather have bright, sunshiny, feel good, vote through the heroes kind of act than this makes me uncomfortable, and I don't like feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But once you kind of remove yourself from the actual like sitting in the uncomfortableness, you're like, that actually was kind of fun, right?
Yeah. So what is the if we're saying America's Got Talent, what is the talent? Just his comedy. So like, and not knowing what he's gonna do when he comes out the next time, just the characters that he can build. That's the talent, just the entertainment and the characters that he provides.
He, yeah, he's a
Okay.
comedian, right?
Yeah.
What's the talent of a comedian? Making you laugh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I'll go with that. Judge's comments. Heidi said, "This was a hot mess." And he says, "But the good kind, right?" Howie says, "It's a yes from me." Sophia said, "I'm going to have to say yes." And then Heidi again says, "I'll ask the audience." And she turns around and asks the audience.
The audience.
That was air quotes for those of you in the podcast, not watching the YouTube feed. Um, they loved you, so it's a yes. And then Simon says, "I don't think I can do this anymore." And Sethward says, "So it's a yes." And Simon says, "Yeah, whatever, anything."
Whatever. I'm out of here.
Um, so, it just took him 4 visits to the AGT stage, and maybe a concussion or two, and a few pratfalls, and he wore Simon down. And yes, whatever you want, that's fine.
Yep.
So
Yep.
uh, I don't see America getting this, but with enough
No,
exposure,
the average American viewer is not going to understand this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but with enough exposure and an appreciation for what he's doing, I think there are there's some people who get this,
Yeah.
and enjoy sitting in that uncomfortableness, or allowing America to sit in this uncomfortableness. That he may garner some votes, but I don't see him going far.
Yeah. So Jay, that's kind of all of our acts. So
Yeah.
let's kind of figure out, where did we rank our acts? Where did we place these 10 acts? And we only placed the 10 that actually went through. We didn't rank the ones that got no's, because we're not going to see them again. So what we've done is Jay and commenter and I have each done our rankings, and what we'd like for you as the viewers or listeners to do as well is send us your rankings for these 10 acts, and we're going to do this each week throughout the auditions. When we get to the next round, whatever, if it's judge cuts or whatever, we'll kind of we'll kind of re-rack and we'll do the same thing again. But each week is going to be really independent of its own, and we're going to see how these acts do as they move through the show. Do we think they got better? Do we think they got worse? Do How we rank them, is it going to match up with how America doing? And then it's also going to kind of coincide with our draft when we get to our draft for the live shows, because we're going to get together and we're going to draft again, and I'm going to win this again. So
Okay, I just need to remind myself,
yeah,
think like America, not like
yes,
Jay.
that's correct. That's right. I gave away the secret last year. So
So
what we've done,
congratulations, Nurse Choir.
yes. So what we've done is we've ranked these one through how many ever acts there are for that episode, and so one is the best. The lowest score is the better score.
Okay.
So we're going to kind of go through these real quick. We're going to highlight some. Overall, Jay, looking at this, it looks like we're pretty consistent. There's a couple of differences, but for the most part, we're kind of all on the same page. Would you say?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could kind of point out the ones where you and I are the furthest apart and maybe
Okay.
discuss why.
Yeah.
Or we
Well,
all
I'll,
go ahead.
yeah. Well, I was just going to say we all had one accord number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then we for the next one, kind of Dustin, and I've got these already ranked in order. What I've did is I took the three scores and I've averaged them. What I will do with the fans or listeners, if you send us, you can tweet us yours, or you can email them, agttimepod or agttimepod@gmail.com. So just send those in. We will then take the fans numbers and average those together, and then we'll take that average and then we'll average it with the three of us.
All right.
So yeah. So for our next ranking, we have Dustin Tavela. We're kind of separated here a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, I had him fourth.
Yep. And commenter and I had him as number 2.
Okay.
And I think I was trying to think like America here, and I think
Yep.
that America is going to like his story. It's it feels similar to the Golden Buzzer Choir, right? And like, well, they're likable. They're going through. So I ranked them pretty high on the. I think America is going to like them well enough.
Yep. Yep.
Gonna like
So
him well enough, I guess.
yes, because I don't think, yeah, his wife and kid are there, but I don't think they're part of the act. Then we had Aidan Bryant. I had him second. Jay had him fourth, and Commenter had him third.
Yeah, I dropped him down just a little bit. I don't think that aerialists go too far in the show.
Okay. I mean, there's been one act. Sophie Dossie did, I think, one aerialist act during her performance. So it can help, but I think and then Alan Silva was a finalist, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Yeah. So
but he's not as good as Alan.
He's not as good as Alan. Okay. Yeah, I can. We'll see how I adjust my ranking in the next round. But as of the first round, I had him pretty high.
Okay.
Peter Rosalita, I had him third. You've had him sixth.
Kid singer.
Okay. Maybe I gave him the bump because of his fancy suit and his eloquent smile, and I think that there's something there with the singing. I didn't like the song. I'm hoping in the next round he has a better song. So we'll see.
Yep.
This, I think, is the biggest gap right here. The nurse choir. I've got him eighth. You've got him
the
third.
Golden Buzzer. They got to be in the top half.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. I just wasn't impressed. I thought it was a fine performance. I think the whole feels thing kind of wavered me a little bit, and maybe that's why I kind of gave him the lower ranking. Was there was too much America's Got Feels and not enough talent.
I don't know. Like America, we like to go into a haunted house. That's what, we like to be scared. We like to sit in that, we like to go on roller coasters. We also like to chew on bubble gum and eat candy. Like that's
I
part
guess
of it
so.
too, right?
I guess so. Yeah. I'm trying this. I'm trying this new thing out where I'm trying to get more in depth with my AGT performances and not enjoy the fluff as much.
Okay, well, there's not a lot of substance, but there is a little bit there for the nurse choir. So,
Okay. Okay.
uh, and I don't know, they're the golden buzzer. They have to
Okay.
they have to be top
Okay.
half.
Well, listeners, just email us in and give us your rankings and let's see
All
if we
right,
can bump them up some.
all right.
Gerald Kelly, our comedian, I had him sixth. You have him fifth. Common had him seventh. So that's probably about right.
Yep,
Yep.
that's fine.
Keith Apicary. And I did this ranking before I knew it was a character. So I had him fifth. You had him ninth, and Commenter had him eighth. So I
Yeah.
think I just enjoyed the dancing, the impressive dancing more.
Knowing that it's a character, that definitely makes me want to make sure that it's one of the lower end. Um, the uh, yeah, like, can it win? No. Can it
Yep.
go far? Probably not. Like, you've shown us, you've done the, like, hey, I'm not going to be very impressive. Wow, you're really impressive, and you can't do it twice. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you've shot that bullet. So
The shock value's gone.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I ranked him so low.
Yeah. The only thing is if he came in as a different character and no one knew that it was him.
Yeah, he could go Boy Brittany on it, I guess. So
He could. He could. Then we got Lil Hunter Kelly. I had him seventh. You had him 10th. And Commoner had him sixth. What's the big
right.
difference there? Just because it's a kid?
Because he's not a
Kid
good
comedian?
comedian. It's,
Why are you hating on the kids this episode, Jay? What's going on here?
I don't know, because they're not fantastic.
Okay. Then we have our dog act, Canine Stars. I had him ninth. You had him seventh. Commoner had him ninth. So it's about the same.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Because something had to be ranked below them.
I guess so.
Because there were some things that were worse.
Okay, so then you're the only one that gave Sethward some love. And again, I did this ranking right after the show. So I should have probably re-ranked. I probably should have revisited my rankings, but I gave him 10th. You gave him 8th, and Commenter also gave him 10th.
You love to hate him, right?
But I don't anymore. I think I do like him now, and I need to kind of revisit that ranking. That may not be the correct ranking.
Yeah, I it's a slow burn with Sethward.
It is a
right?
slow burn. Took
Like,
four times for him to get moved on. So
you sit in watching this act and it doesn't make sense and it's weird and it's uncomfortable, but you get a couple days removed from it and you're like, oh, actually I did kind of enjoy that. It is memorable. So yeah, you see, it's a slow burn, but
yeah,
he knows that.
he was
He's figured
literally
that out.
He was literally peacocking the judges.
So there you go. All right. Well, we'll see if those rankings change, I guess, as we maybe um, having had the conversations that we've had.
Yeah.
Does it match with how we ranked them? So
Yeah. Well,
whew,
that's
buddy.
that's a 2-hour episode, 2-hour AGT episode, and a 2-hour podcast. Any final thoughts on this? That was just a lot to unpack with our first week back.
Man, I am so happy to be back into the season, talking about the acts, having fun, digging into it. This has been a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season. This is, you know, something that I do enjoy spending the time on, and I enjoy having the conversations with you.
Yep.
Hoping to have more conversations and input from our friends who listen to the podcast. Reach out to us, give us some rankings, give us some stars, give us some reviews. I would love to challenge everybody to write a review this week. I'm going to write a review for a podcast this week, and I'm going to challenge you to do the same. It's not something that I usually do, but it is something that podcasters beg for. So the season's here. We think we're putting out some good content. Share it with the world however you can.
Yep, absolutely. So here's some things we do know. Just real quick, final thoughts, Jay. Here's some things that we do know about the season. There's going to be, of course, auditions. We're not sure about judge cuts. I'm hearing some rumblings that there's not a judge cut. So I'm trying to get a confirmation on that. But we will have a 2-week break for the Olympics. So the Olympics was supposed to be last year. Obviously, that didn't happen. It's happening this year. So there's going to be a break at the end of July, first couple of weeks of August for the Olympics. We're looking at some things for that break just to have some content in there. And then, of course, we'll have the live shows after that. We'll be doing our power rankings. We'll be doing a draft. Commenter will be on every now and then. We may have some guests on throughout the season. So we appreciate you all listening, and know it's after, it's over 2 hours now. We'll try to keep it a little shorter going forward. We just had so much to unpack. But thank you for listening. Once again, you can reach us Twitter, Facebook, there's Instagram. I'm working on it at AGT Time Pod. Email address agttimepod@gmail.com. Anything else, Jay?
Nope. I will remind you all to stay safe.
Yep. Have a good night.